Hey y'all, this is Jamie. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I thought I would do the tag that's going around, that is to name your top 3 products in each category. So today that is what I'm going to be doing. But before we get into that, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so I saw this video idea going around. I think the last person I saw do this was Eyeliners, and I don't know who started it. If I figure out who started it, I will put it on the screen right here. But basically, you just go through and you give your top 3 favorites for each makeup category. So like your top 3 foundations, your top 3 concealers, etc. So I thought that this would be a little fun. I at first thought that I wouldn't be able to do it because I don't wear like too much makeup, and I don't get PR yet, so I don't have an abundance of products to try out. But I seem to be able to find my top 3 products for most of these categories. There are a couple categories that only have 2 products, and then there are a couple categories that don't have any because I don't really use that particular type of product. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with complexion products. The first category that I'm gonna do is foundation. So I am going to include foundations, tinted moisturizers, skin tints, and such. As some of y'all may know, I don't wear a lot of foundation. I tend to lean more towards the tinted moisturizers, tinted sunscreens, things like that. So I actually have 2 tinted moisturizers and then 1 foundation. So the first one I want to talk about is one that I've talked about on my channel many times. I love this product. I actually have a video reviewing this, so I will link that up in the cards above if you'd like to go and check that out. It is the Pure 4-in-1 Tinted Moisturizer, and I have it in the shade MN3. So this is an all-in-one moisturizer, primer, foundation, and SPF. That is what the 4-in-1 stands for. It has SPF 20 in it, and I really like this. It's a nice, lightweight tinted moisturizer. It has the added SPF. The one thing that might kind of take away from this product, I don't mind it as much, but I know some people might, is it does have a slight shimmer. I notice it more so like as the day goes by, once it starts to kind of dry on your face, because when you first apply it, it's just very glowy, but as the day goes on, it does seem to be a little more shimmery. I don't mind it. I actually kind of like that, but I know that that's something that might bother some people. So my next one is actually a pretty recent favorite. I also just recently did a video on this product, and it is the Smashbox Halo Healthy Glow All-in-One Tinted Moisturizer. This one does have SPF 25, and I have the shade Light Neutral. So this is also infused with primer, so it lasts all day, primes, moisturizes, perfects, and protects. So if you can't tell, I like these products that are kind of all in one, but this just gives a really pretty glow. It's what I'm wearing on my face today. It does tend to last all day. I will say that if you use this, it can sometimes be, depending on how much you put on, it can sometimes be a little hard to spread. So I tend to either put it on right after I put my sunscreen on, or I tend to mix it with some other kind of product. So mix it with a primer, mix it with a liquid highlighter, something like that. I mix it to spread it on the rest of my face. And then the last foundation category product that I have is an actual foundation. So I did also try this in 2021. I think this was within the last couple months as well. I think this was on my testing new Essence products, and it is the Essence Pretty Natural Hydrating Foundation. So if you also couldn't tell from these products, I like hydrating products, I like glowy products, and I have pretty normal skin. It's not really dry, it's not really oily, pretty normal. So this has hyaluron and aloe vera. It is definitely hydrating. I have the shade 140 Neutral Buff. It's great, you can apply it with your fingers. It has pretty nice coverage depending on how much you put on. I don't tend to put on much, but I think if I wanted to make this medium coverage, I think it would definitely go up to that. And this has a pretty nice price point. It is under $10. I want to say this was like $6.99 maybe. It is definitely my favorite foundation. All right, so moving on to concealers. So I will be honest with you, I feel like I still don't have a concealer that I am absolutely in love with. I have one that's pretty close, but I have been looking for like the perfect concealer for a while, because with concealers, I like them to be enough coverage to hide. I have pretty dark circles under my eyes, so I want it to be enough coverage to hide that, but not so much coverage that it hides all the freckles that I have under my eyes. And I like it to be not matte. I like it to be somewhat hydrating as well. I do have 3 that I am liking right now. One that is probably my favorite out of these 3. So we'll start with my least favorite of the 3, and we'll work towards my favorite. So this first one is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Hydrating Concealer. This right here, I wish I had a bit lighter of a shade, because even though I'm not a huge fan of highlighting under my eyes, I still like for it to be, I think this is just like a little too orangey. It still works. So it still works, and it gives a nice coverage. I like the coverage of this one. I do. I sometimes feel like it gathers a little bit after a certain amount of time, so that's why it's not my absolute favorite, but I do like the coverage. I do like that it feels very hydrating underneath the eyes. It's not very drying or anything like that. So the next one is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro. I think this is the 16-hour coverage concealer, and I have it in the shade Light Medium. So it is a stick concealer, which I think is the kind that works best for me. I feel like I can control the coverage more with a stick concealer than I can with one that comes on a wand. So I do like how this applies a lot. I think that is my preferred method of applying concealer, is with a stick. I also love the shade. This is kind of the perfect shade for me. Like I said, light medium, sorry, it's light medium neutral 05. And I like the coverage of this. If there are any stick concealers that you know of that you really like, let me know in the comments down below. And then the final one, which is probably my favorite concealer right now, I'm actually almost out of it, is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I have it in the shade Medium Peach. I initially tried the original one. That was, I believe it was a matte formula. I don't think it was a natural finish. I think it was a matte formula, and I did not like it. So I was really excited when they came out with a hydrating formula. This is more of a full coverage concealer though. So what I like to do is I will take a little bit onto my hand, and then I'll kind of rub it and then put it on. Other than that, I think this is a really great concealer, and I know a lot of people like full coverage under their eyes, so I know some people are probably like, yeah, duh, that's what you want, Jamie. But not I, said the fly. So for powders, I don't have 3 favorite powders because I don't use them much. I'll use them if I remember to, and I really only use it under my eyes because, like I said, I like having very glowy skin, so I don't put powder all over my face, just under my eyes. And the one that I have used and that I've been using pretty much since I started wearing makeup is the NYX HD Finishing Powder. I have the shade Banana. It's a really nice light powder. I really like the shade of it. This is, sorry, my lid's been broken for like a year from this thing. I have hit pan. I saw in one of Tati's videos, she had a little mini one, which I thought was super cool. I've never seen a mini one of these. It was like a teeny tiny. I kind of want to get one. So this is my one and only product for powder. All right, so next up, let's move into more of our color face products. So bronzers, blushes, highlighters. So we're gonna start off with bronzers. I have technically 3 favorites. It took me a little bit because surprisingly, even though I love bronzer, I haven't really tried out many bronzers. I think I'm like a creature of habit with that, and I like to use the same ones over and over and over again. So I've really only tried like 4 or 5 bronzers, and one of them is no longer a bronzer. The Tan Time by Lottie London. I really liked that bronzer, but it's like not sold anymore. The other one is from a brand that is no longer considered cruelty-free, which I was really upset about, and that's Physicians Formula. The other 3 I'm going to talk about today. The first one I don't actually have with me any longer because I did throw it out. It was getting old, and it was a stick bronzer, and that is the LA Girl Velvet Contour Stick. That one I think was the first like stick bronzer that I had ever used, and I actually really liked it. It was really easy to apply. There was a lot of color payoff when it went on, but it wasn't so much that it was like intimidating or hard to work with. And I think it was a shade, it did call it a contour stick, but I feel like it was more of a bronzing shade. And it looks like, I was looking it up online to see if they still sold it, and it looks like they also have some blush shades. If I can find it and figure out which one was my shade, I will put it up on the screen. So the next one is actually something that I just recently tried out, but it has already become a favorite of mine, and that is the Juvia's Place, the Bronzed Duo. I have the shade medium, so it comes with 2 shades. This one is actually the one that I end up using for like bronzing my face, and then I do sometimes use this shade up here for on my eyelids. I do use for my lids. I really like this. It's matte, it's completely matte bronzer, which I don't use all the time because the Physicians Formula bronzer that I had, the butter bronzer, had a bit of a sheen to it. This next one that I'm going to talk about in a second has a bit of a sheen to it, so I tend to like those more like luminous bronzers. But this one is completely matte, which it's nice to have a completely matte bronzer in your collection. It blends out well, it's not too much. Again, I tend to get intimidated by products that like just one little swoop and it's so much, especially when it comes to bronzers and blushes. So it's nice to have a bronzer that you can build up. I'm really liking it. And then the last product, this is probably my favorite, the one that I use most often. If you watch my channel, you probably know which one it's gonna be because I'm always wearing this. It is the Essence Sun Club Luminous Bronzing Powder. This is the medium tone. I feel like in the luminous one, they only have this shade, but it looks like in the matte bronzing powder, they do have several different shades. I was in an Ulta the other day and I noticed like 4 or 5 different shades in the matte bronzing powder. I wish they would get more shades in the luminous one because I think it just puts such a nice glow to the face. I can't say that this glow is just from this bronzer today because I am wearing my new favorite blush. Really love this, and it's a lot of product. It is a lot of product. Like, I use this almost every day, and I have been using it almost every day for like a year, and I haven't even really made a dent in it. You definitely get your money's worth with this, even though it's only like, this has to be like less than $6. So now moving on to blush. Alright, so blushes. I used to not like blush because I have a natural flush to my face that I've always been embarrassed about, and so I never saw the appeal of putting even more pink or red onto my cheeks. I'm like, why would I want to do that? But I've really been liking it lately. I do have 3 products right here. I don't really care if they're matte or if they're luminous. Either one is fine by me as long as it's not too glittery. But I do like ones that are a little more natural as far as the shades. I don't like really pink blushes or like orangey blushes. So the first one I'm going to talk about, I have been using on my channel for a long time. It is the BH Cosmetics Vanilla Cream Truffle Blush Palette. So this comes with 4 different colors. And I know a lot of people don't like buying palettes like this because they only end up using like 1 or 2 shades, so it's just kind of a waste. I would say that I've actually used all of these shades in here, and you know, a lot of times I like to mix shades. So what I tend to do is I like to mix this shade right here with this one up here, but I have used all of them individually as well. This is the Vanilla Cream Truffle Blush Palette, but they also have several different palettes as well that are different shades for different skin tones. I think that's really nice as well because they're not expecting one blush palette to be able to be used by like everybody. So I think that's when you run into the problem of, oh well, I really only use 1 shade, because only 1 shade is suitable for your skin tone. But this one, because they have different palettes for different skin tones, this one, pretty much all of these are suitable for my skin tone. You know what I mean? Way to go, BH. And the next one is also a somewhat new addition. I love Essence blushes. I think I have like 3 or 4 of them now. They're really pretty, they're subtle, you can build them up. Some of them, I think pretty much all of them that I have are matte blushes. So this one that I just recently got is the Mosaic blush. and I have it in the shade All You Need Is Pink. It's really nice because it has several different shades all in one palette, and you can just kind of mix them together with your brush. It gives a really nice color to the cheeks. A really nice natural flush. Really pretty, very inexpensive. Again, Essence is, most of their products are under $10. Honestly, most of their products are like $5 and under. I would say this one's probably about $4.99, most likely $3.99, $4.99. And the last one is the newest blush that I have tried out. It was in my YouTubers Made Me Buy It video. This is the Buxom Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush. As I said in that video, I had been wanting to buy one of these blushes for a while. I used to work at Sephora, so I always passed by Buxom, and I always wanted to try like almost everything. Something about Buxom as a brand really appealed to me. They just were a little higher priced than what I wanted to spend on makeup at the time. This is a $23 blush. I do feel like with blushes, they can go a lot further than something like a foundation or a concealer. And it's got a beachy scent. It's got a beachy scent, and I love it. And I love the shade of this. I think this is probably my favorite blush shade. It gives you a really nice color to the cheeks, but isn't like, although I kind of made it boom in that video because I put a lot on. I don't think I realized, I think because it was such a subtle color, I just was like, and I only knocked it like once before I put it on, and it was a lot. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up in the cards above. You can go check out my clown face. It was a cute clown face though. One of the greatest things about this, it is a slightly shimmery satin. That's the word I keep trying to think of. It does have kind of a satin finish, and so you get a nice glow to the face without having to use a highlighter. So I'm not wearing a highlighter today. I am wearing this, and you see that? Just so pretty, kind of a lit from within kind of look. All right, so moving on to highlighters. Speaking of, I don't tend to like powder highlighters, and if I get a powder highlighter, I usually don't use it on my face. I use it on my eyes. I really only have like one powder highlighter to share with y'all, and it's been something that I've been using for the last like three and a half years. Really enjoy it. And then the other two are products that aren't even technically highlighters, but I kind of use them as a highlighter, and I only actually have one product with me right now out of the three, so sorry. So the first one is the one powder highlighter that I have, and it is the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. This is in the shade Be My Highlight. It really gives a nice glow to the face that kind of is similar to the glow that I get from using a liquid or a cream highlighter, but really pretty. See, that's not too much. It's just like a slight sheen, and it's so pretty. And this is such a pretty shade too. Ooh, where is it? Hold on. I'm gonna go get it. I have a Pure Nude highlighter palette. I completely forgot about that. Yes, here it is. So this is the Pure Nude highlighter palette. I would say that this is probably this one up here. I also have that one. I completely forgot about that. The other two are more primers slash complexion enhancers is what the other one is. So one of them is the Milani Soft Focus Glow Complexion Enhancer. So I think you can use this kind of under your makeup to give your face a bit more of a glow, but you can also use it as a targeted highlighter. That's what I tended to use it for. It's very similar to the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion, which was one of my favorite products before I went cruelty-free, and since L'Oreal is not cruelty-free, I was like trying to find anything I could to replace that. Then the other product is the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. I did love using that underneath makeup as a face primer, but I did also use it sometimes as a target highlight as well, and it gives a really, again, I keep saying it, a really pretty glow to the face. I don't know how else to describe it. It just really does. It is like this lit from within. You just are like carrying the sunshine with you. And it also smelled delicious. I love the smell of the Banana Bright Face Primer. This is gonna be a long video. So moving on to eyes. eyeshadow palettes is what we will talk about first. So I haven't really been using eyeshadow palettes much lately. I think a lot of people are kind of in that same boat. So this is the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. And I've talked about this in other videos as being a favorite of mine. It has 21 shades in here, so you get a lot of eyeshadows. It has a variety of shades. It has some cool tones, some warm tones, it has some natural shades. I think their intention was for this to be a travel palette, for you to kind of travel the world and this be your all-in-one palette, and I think that they definitely succeeded at that. It has a great ratio of mattes to shimmers. It has mostly mattes. It also has pretty packaging, so that's always a plus. And then the other one that I have is the BH Cosmetics Hangin' in Hawaii palette. I have also talked about this before as being one of my favorite palettes. This to me is a great like everyday palette. Again, it has nice cool tone shades, it has nice warm tone shades, it has quite a few matte shades in here, and then it has some really pretty shimmers. So I think this is great if you are just getting into makeup. I think it's great if you are looking for a palette that you could ideally use kind of on an everyday basis, but it also does still have some fun colors in here as well if you want to be a little more playful and colorful. This will always be one of my favorite palettes. I think they repackaged it. So I think they still have the Hangin' in Hawaii palette, but I don't think it looks like this anymore. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about, so it's not an actual eyeshadow palette, and they're not actually eyeshadows, but I use them on the lids. And my favorite thing to do even before COVID was to take a blender brush, go into my bronzer and put that through the crease, and then use some kind of highlighting brush and go into a highlighter and just brush that on the lid. And that's what I did today. That's one of my favorite things to do. It's really quick, it's really pretty, it makes you look like you took the time to do your makeup without actually taking that much time to do your makeup. So my favorite highlighter to use are the ColourPop Super Shock highlighters. So I have one in, this is the Dr. Facilier one that came when they did that Disney Villains collab. So I actually do like using the Super Shock highlighters on my face, but this one was a little too dark for me to use. So I started using it on my eyes. This is the one that I'm wearing today. Really pretty on the eyes. And then I also like to use, this is A Smile and a Song from the Disney Designer Collection. These are really pretty highlighters to use on the eyes as well, the Super Shock highlighters from ColourPop. So now we are going to move on to my favorite category of makeup, and that is mascara. I do definitely have three favorites. I honestly could have put almost all of the mascaras that I have in this video, but I felt like I had to choose three favorites. So these are three that I have just recently tried out, probably within the last like month or two. So starting with the mascara that I have been using probably the longest out of these three, and that is the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. So this is the one that I'm wearing today. It gives such a lengthening but also voluminous effect to the lashes, which I feel like it's sometimes hard to find one that does both, even though a lot of mascaras claim that they do both. And you do get that with this, but it doesn't clump, it lengthens, it gives you volume. It's wonderful. I do like these three kind of for different reasons and for different purposes. This is great for every day if you want the focus to be your lashes, if that makes any sense. A lot of times I'll wear my makeup like this, very natural, so I'm not wearing like much color on my lids or anything like that, so I want the sole focus to be on my lashes, so I'll wear something like this. But if I want to go even more natural, I just want a little bit of color, a little bit of lengthening, I will go to the CoverGirl Lash Blast Clean Mascara. This one does a really pretty job at lengthening and separating the lashes, especially the separating part. So it looks like you have just really nice long lashes. And then for me, if I want something a little more, I will go to the Milani Highly Rated Mascara. This makes your lashes look like fluffy false lashes. So it gives like a fluffy voluminous look rather than like a clumpy one. Absolutely love this. All of three of these are long lasting. I don't really have much flaking or smudging with any of these three. I absolutely love all three of these mascaras. All right, so moving on to brows. For this one, I only have 2. I have not tried enough brow products to have 3. So my 2 favorites are both drugstore affordable brands. So the first one is actually the first brow product that I ever used, was the Essence Make Me Brow eyebrow gel, and I have the shade Blondie Brows. I tend to get blonde in eyebrow products because I feel like I have tried auburn shades. Not a lot of brands have an auburn shade. It was just a little too much. I'm like, I got enough auburn on my head. I don't really need that much on my brows anyways. I will say that it does tend to dry up pretty quickly, so I feel like I end up going through this a little bit quicker than this other one that I have, but this puts out a perfect amount of product on the brows. It's not too much that I flip out, because with this other product that I'm going to talk about, it does put out a lot of product, so I have to be really careful. It's really easy to just comb through your brows. So the other one is probably not a surprise either if you watch my channel. It is the ColourPop Brow Boss Gel, and I also get this in the shade Blonde. This is the one that I do have to be a little careful with, because especially if this is like a fresh tube that I just purchased, this will have a lot of product on it, and so I have to, you know, do this whole thing first before I go straight into the brows. I actually prefer, I think, the color on this one than the Essence one. The Essence one, this is a little more ashy, so I think I like the color of this one. I like the application of this one better. If any of y'all have a favorite brow gel, leave that in the comments down below. For eyeliners, we're gonna do this quick. I don't wear eyeliners very often. I don't use any kind of liquid liner. I don't create a wing much. So if I use any kind of liner, it's typically like a cream or a gel liner. So my favorite is definitely the ColourPop cream gel liner. I have these 2 in the shades Sub-Zero and Sunnyvale. I think these came in that like sunflower collection that they had. I like their cream gel liners, ColourPops. So there we go. All right, so now we are getting to lip products. Here are all my lip products. Let's talk about lip liners. So I know that some of y'all are probably laughing and saying, Jamie, you don't wear lip liners, so why is this a category for you? True, I don't. It's not because I don't want to, it's because, and I've said this in another video, I feel like there are too many options with lip liners, and so I get very intimidated and I don't know exactly what to get, what shade to get. But one lip liner that I do have and that I really enjoy, like I really love, is the Buxom Plump Line lip liner. I think this was like 2 years ago, either 2018 or 2019 holiday season. They had a lip holiday set, which I feel like they have that every year, and I think that's a great time to get lip products from Buxom. I was able to get a lip kit that had 3 lip liners and then a few of their lip glosses, and I think it was only like $25. These 2 lip liners are in the shade Dolly Danger and Hush Hush. I really enjoy these lip liners. They go on really easily, and they're easy to blend out and to fill the rest of the lips with. So that's something that I noticed about the NYX Slim Lip Pencil, is that it was really great for lining the lips, but it wasn't really great for filling the lips. So these are really great to fill the lips with as well, because they are a bit fatter, but not too fat that you can't get like a nice line around the lips. And then if this is still available, I really like this too. This is the Wander Beauty Lip Setter. It's a dual lipstick and liner. So on this side you have the liner, and then on this side you have a lipstick. And this is one of my favorite lip products. I really love this shade. It is so flattering. And it's more of like a cool tone mauve shade, which I don't tend to like as much. I usually like more warm tone lip products, but this is so pretty, and I would definitely highly recommend. I'll see if they still have them, and all of these products I'll link in the description box. But yeah, love that. Moving on to lip gloss. So I think it's no surprise, I've mentioned this so many times on my channel. My favorite lip gloss period is the Revolution, Makeup Revolution Pout Bomb Plumping Lip Gloss. My 2 favorite shades are Kiss and Glaze. And then I do also like the shade Cookie if I'm wanting to go with something a little bit deeper. So pretty. That's what I'm wearing on my lips right now. Doesn't have too much of a plumping effect, I don't think. It gives your lips a nice like icy, icy tingling sensation, but I still think it's a nice gloss. It's not too gloopy. This is like, I've been sitting here for like almost an hour and it still looks like this. I do also like this one I just tried out. It's the Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumper. I think this has a similar effect. I'm not as big of a fan of this shade just on its own. I think it looked really pretty on top of I think I tried it on top of a lip liner, but I tried it on this morning by itself and I wasn't a huge fan of the shade by itself, but I will definitely try out some other shades. And then I do also really like the Buxom lip glosses. But these again, I think also look really pretty over top something else. But if you are wanting something to just wear on its own, I would highly recommend the Makeup Revolution Pout Balm. Those are really pretty on their own. So when it comes to just lipstick, I do really like the Cream Luxe lipstick, is that what they're called, from ColourPop. I have the two that were from the Frozen collection. This is the shade Little Snow, and that was the Elsa one, and then I also have the Anna one going north. I really love the formula for this. It's really pretty, it's easy to apply. You don't necessarily need a lip liner for those, but I would probably recommend them. And then as far as liquid lipstick, this is more, I'm not a huge fan of liquid lipstick, so this is more of a lip cream, but I did just recently try these are so like sticky, I don't know what got all on them. This is the Rare Beauty Matte Lip Cream. I have it in the shade Fearless and then Inspire. Really loved those. It was really pretty, easy to apply, very pigmented. It was a nice feel on the lips, it wasn't too matte, so really am enjoying those. And then NYX I think has a lip cream that I really like. So yes, I think that's 3 products now. And I think that is the end of my collection. My top 3 products in each category. Alright, so that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload a new video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoy it. That would really help me out. I am on a quest to get 1,000 subscribers finally. So if y'all could help me out, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye y'all.